Fource, our final project. We have 8 people from 4 countries with 2 distinct pizza orders. Can they make one cohesive team? We have a diverse cast assembled for you, with backgrounds from theater and the arts to software engineering, an ESG consultant and a Texan, a Boston sports fan and a New York sports fan, people over 6 feet tall and people under. We've given our contestants 1 week to form a cohesive learning team. Let's see what they've learned over the past week and what they'll take going forward into the year.
After meeting each other for the first time, our team was thrown into the gauntlet via the Hurricane Project. As this was our first time working together, we had ample opportunity to see some of our team's innate strengths. While discussing the 15 items we needed to prioritize, each member was intent on listening actively to one another. Many of us had strong preconceived notions going into the discussion, but based on the cogent ideas presented by others, we were able to shift our perspective from disagreement to agreement. Although we had disagreements, we clearly showed positive synergy as a team, with our collective intelligence surpassing that of our individual members, showing through our higher scores as a group compared to the average individual. While there were some areas we showed our strength, this activity presented many learning opportunities. At the beginning of the project, we failed to take the time to figure out the big question we were trying to answer and jumped straight into recording what score everyone gave each item. As we come to find out, this unstructured approach lacked a cohesive strategy and likely reinforced some of the confirmation biases during the discussion, making the discussion more combative and collaborative. Without any structure in mind, we failed to seek out commonalities in our positions and began debating which items should be prioritized. Our failure to establish and stick to a process prevented us from moving quickly, leading our team to rush hastily at the end. Additionally, we saw a lack of inclusion during our discussion, with a tendency for some members to dominate the conversation without considering the input of some of the other members. This activity showed how our team needed facilitative leadership to achieve group success. During our reflection, we saw that the project experience would have been significantly stronger if we had established and stuck to a process. With a structured approach, we would have been able to identify roles and set the ground rules for the discussion, enabling a more equitable and inclusive environment for everyone to bring their voice into the discussion. We also realized that as a team of diverse perspectives, we need to establish a set of team norms to serve as a foundation for future projects. With collective norms, we would have had a more focused discussion that did not just serve the needs of individuals, but those of the team as a whole.
Following the hurricane exercise, our team foundations meeting was a chance to formalize our learnings into group norms and processes moving forward. We started by going through our personal user manuals and being transparent about our working styles, which allowed us to expand our public space with each other. While the day before, we had struggled to maintain an equitable discussion space, we gave each person time to talk during this discussion, ensuring that everyone had a more equal say. Through this, we reinforced our shared commitment to improving our team and learning from our mistakes. Our final team foundations document was an amalgam of our lessons from the hurricane activity. We instituted a norm of active inclusion and determined that one of our group process would include a planning meeting in order for us to stay focused and organized on future projects. Although the meeting was a huge step forward for the team, we still struggled to put these norms and processes into practice. During the meeting, we struggled with time management, keeping the discussion on track, and clearly defining our roles. This last point came up when multiple people started designing the PowerPoint at the same time, resulting in a chaotic working environment. Evidently, creating a team foundations document was the first step towards improving as a team. The next few days would test our ability to adhere to the norms and processes that we had laid out together.
Based on the experience of the past and the norms we work out in our group meetings, our collaboration went smoothly during the Broken Air Herring project. And what went well is that we quickly set a clear goal for this discussion and harnessed time management. We did well in discussing as a team and listening to each other's points. But there are also some problems. By not taking verbatim notes, we introduce the risk of bias by omitting qualifier words like some or a few. and we didn't have a plan for how we would make the decision and collect information, resulting in a more subjective choice. What we can do to improve next time is that we need to pay attention to every detail when we try to transmit information and be especially careful when relaying information, especially qualitative and interpersonal details, to be more inclusive and equitable. And it is better for us to have a template to share information, which will help us to see the big picture of the project. And I believe we can make progress step by step after every deep reflection.
The Tangram puzzle was a revealing group exercise for us. Specifically, what worked was providing detailed instructions in the most efficient way that we could. The implementation of our instructions was effective and led to completing the puzzle. However, there were multiple areas that could have been improved on our end. To begin, the managers didn't involve the rest of the team until the final few minutes of our planning phase and found that the team was disorganized due to being left in the dark. Additionally, we didn't have a structured plan on how to communicate clearly. The lack of full participation led to a decrease in motivation and satisfaction within the team. In this case, collaborating with our team and being less autocratic as managers and more participative would have led to a better team cohesion. However, as we would find out, not all scenarios are the same. We overcorrected our decision-making style in the subsequent LEGO module and realized we didn't have enough proper guidance.
The LEGO module presented our biggest learning experience of the entire course. We successfully incorporated some of our learning from the earlier lessons. There was an initial division of labor which greatly helped with our first build attempt, and we continued to have good, respectful conversations and disagreements when more opinions were involved. However, the careful division of labor quickly broke down after our first failure. With no one to maintain big picture goals and address what happened when we failed, things devolved into frustration. Additionally, we continued to waste valuable time running headlong into the task with little pre-planning, which created confusion and chaos. The result of these failures on our part led to significant coordination and motivation losses and decreased the productivity and subsequent value of the team. However, this failure would also lead to our greatest success. We were able to observe teams in real time and hear what worked for them. It was eye-opening to learn that the fastest team didn't even look at the bot for the first 10 minutes of planning and just discussed roles and strategies and assigned an overall facilitator to keep the big picture of the task in mind. This was a light bulb moment for our group, leading us to have an honest and transparent conversation about our process. We realized that we were still leaning too heavily on move actions and not enough on reflect actions. We resolved to make sure to adhere to our agreed upon norms, and since that turning point, our team cohesion has improved.
The activities this week have led to some takeaways and specific areas that we need to address as a team. One of the challenges we faced, was the need to plan tasks and assign roles better, and to trust each other in the process. We realized the importance of this through various tasks. The LEGO task, for instance, showed us how clear and structured roles can be important. The hurricane showed us the importance of planning, and the painting project has also showed us, how a plan can lead to larger group success. To fix this, we'd like to have an agenda and assign a facilitator for every meeting, taking turns in this role, of course. Another important lesson that the group would like to address and stick to is the creation of an inclusive environment by ensuring that everyone is making equal contributions and encouraging people who have uncommon opinions. We've already seen progress, since Hurricane, as well as the value of uncommon viewpoints through the hiring activity. However, there is still scope for improvement, and we'd like to improve further in this direction. For instance, by having and enforcing, time to speak, but making sure that you're not speaking too much. And if you see someone else doing that, you just call it out. Expecting the facilitator to be aware of this too, of course, since they have the more bird's eye view during the meeting.
In reflecting on this week, every member of Gold Force recognized their personal growth and our growth as a team. Our weaknesses in communication and action quickly became apparent, but because these modules and reflections forced us to confront our dynamics, we were able to pivot and develop strategies that will mitigate our natural tendency towards movement and instead put equity and inclusion at the forefront through structured discussion. Although the activities and takeaways from this week can seem like just fun and games or only relevant for small groups, we recognize the importance of being intentional leaders and sticking to our norms on Thursday, when our modules zoomed out from our team of 8 to broader impacts on business and society. After 5 days together, our team is more committed to each other, our norms, and our objectives. We've established a foundation of trust and understanding that will enable us to confront new challenges and disagreements going forward, and we're all excited to experience this year together.